TN News, this is Montana This Morning.
In the mining city, this fire has some residents wondering what it takes to get abandoned vehicles removed from their neighborhoods.
A key witness back on the stand. I'm Jared Hill with why prosecutors say the one-time publisher of the National Enquirer is critical in former President Trump's hush money case.
The Gallatin Association of Realtors released its latest report on the housing statuses of Gallatin County. I'm Edgar Cedillo, and I'll tell you the details in the report coming up.
I'm Jonathan Amberian in the Helena Valley. I'll have a closer look at a new federal rule that could make changes in how the Bureau of Land Management manages the 8 million acres it oversees across Montana.
Alrighty, it is 6 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. Jay McDonald and Matt Elwell. I really have to convince myself that it's only 6 o'clock.
I
know. Look at that right now, Matt. It looks like it's about 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It was interesting this morning driving in, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. It was bright as day with the moon, and it was gorgeous last night on the horizon. You just see it coming up and a couple of clouds out there. It was gorgeous.
I thought I slept in this morning seeing how light it was.
And
outside.
that happens
I
sometimes.
flew out of bed.
It's really tough when there's snow on the ground. Luckily, that's not the case.
Yep.
Early morning temperatures into the 20s. Pretty chilly in Butte, 20 degrees on the dot. In the mining city, 28 in Belgrade, 22 in Ennis. You'll want those heavier jackets or light coat on the way out the door. The afternoon, you probably won't have that anywhere near you. Daytime highs expected to top out near 60 degrees. Again, mainly clear skies we're starting the day. Temperatures expected to be near 60 degrees with light wind for most of the area today. We do have a shift in our weather pattern that could include rain and snow. We'll talk more about the timing and expectations in just a little bit.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Now, abandoned vehicles and fraudulent letters causing a stir in some Butte neighborhoods. Our Megan Thompson speaks with a county official and a concerned citizen.
Announcement last week about a fraudulent notice that was placed on a home in North Butte asking for an RV to be removed from the public right-of-way. But the PSA is actually stirring up a lot of emotions for many people who want to see more done about the problem.
I'm just angry at the city. I have called countless times to try and get this moved, and like I said, my worst fear happened. It caught fire and my children sleep 50 yards away.
Melanie Wentz says she's been calling daily about a camper that has been on her street since the end of February. A citation was placed on the RV last week, a couple of days before it caught fire in the middle of the night.
Thankfully, there was no explosion. We got off on the lighter end of the possibilities, but there's so many possibilities, and it could have been easily avoided, very easily.
Melanie says when she saw the PSA about the fraudulent notice, she felt like the city was doing something about the note while ignoring the problem in her neighborhood.
I talked to so many actual people and got so big of a runaround. I think I talked to everyone who works for the city and just got told, talk to this department, talk to this department, call this department.
It's very hard to enforce, and there are a lot of them. We understand that. There are a lot of these camp trailers that are parked in the right-of-way. And we do not patrol for those, but we do handle those on a complaint-driven basis.
John Moudry is Butte Silver Bow's Community Enrichment Director, and he says he and his team are doing the best they can with the process that they have in place.
I know it doesn't happen as quickly as people think it should happen, but we do the best we can with the ordinance and the Montana code annotated that we have.
The county is asking citizens who receive fraudulent notices on county letterhead to disregard them or to call law enforcement to report false citations. And John says if people feel their complaints are not being addressed, they can come to him directly. In Butte, Megan Thompson, MTN News.
And it's no surprise that the housing market in Gallatin County is extremely hot. But as our Edgar Cedillo shows us, there are some changes on the horizon.
The Gallatin Association of Realtors released its latest report on housing here in the county, which they say paints a much more optimistic note on the status of the housing market here in Gallatin County.
We are seeing changes in the overall housing market.
Joanna Harper, chairperson of the Gallatin Association of Realtors, says that the biggest change in the housing market is now more retirees moving and buying in the county.
We think of Montana State as a draw, bring a lot of young people into our community, but we're also seeing people who are retiring.
With the median home price in Gallatin County sitting at nearly $750,000, many people who are trying to buy their first home are still the ones who continue to struggle.
First-time home buyers are in a really difficult situation because our entry price point here is higher.
Harper says that with the rapid growth that's happening in the county, new homes that are coming online are driving the high prices. The report says that the median price for a newly constructed single-family home is still more than $920,000.
New construction homes, which is why when you hear those really high numbers for median sale price, that's because that population of properties that have been sold represent a large portion of new construction.
The report also focuses on rentals, with some signs of change.
And that story is changing. We have seen a lot of multifamily construction. All you have to do is drive around.
The report indicates that rental prices in Gallatin County are some of the highest in the state, sitting at around $2,300. That's 1.7 times more than rents in Montana's largest county, Yellowstone. At a roundtable, community leaders also say that they're optimistic about affordable housing also beginning to turn a page.
And we are seeing the impact of collaborative efforts to try to bring some things into our community and into our marketplace.
In Bozeman, Edgar Cedillo, MTN News.
Now on the national scene, a key prosecution witness continues testimony at former President Donald Trump's Manhattan trial today. It comes after both sides presented their opening statements yesterday to the jury. Trump is charged with 34 felony counts of falsifying business documents related to alleged payments to keep an affair with an adult film star quiet ahead of the 2016 election. CBS News' Jared Hill has more on what to expect today.
This is a witch hunt and it's a shame.
After railing against proceedings following opening statements, today former President Donald Trump is due back in a New York courtroom. The prosecution's first witness, former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker, also back on the stand. During opening statements, prosecutors argued that in 2015, Pecker met with Trump and his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, to work out a scheme to buy and conceal negative stories about Trump ahead of the 2016 election. One of them about an alleged previous affair with adult film star Stormy Daniels. In his brief testimony Monday, Pecker acknowledged the National Enquirer did pay for stories. Trump denies any wrongdoing. While Cohen did pay Daniels $130,000 to suppress her story days before the election, which Trump later reimbursed as legal fees, the prosecution characterized it as election fraud.
It's a case as to bookkeeping, which is a very minor thing in terms of the law.
In his opening, Trump's defense attorney, Todd Blanche, said that Trump didn't commit any crimes and, quote, "There's nothing wrong with trying to influence an election. It's called democracy." Cohen, who previously served prison time after pleading to federal campaign finance charges as well as other crimes, is also expected to testify.
He got in trouble, he went to jail. This had nothing to do with me.
Also today, the judge will hear arguments on whether to hold Trump in contempt for allegedly violating a gag order over his social media posts criticizing the trial. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
And in another courtroom nearby, New York Attorney General Letitia James and former President Trump's attorneys reached a deal to allow his $175 million bond to stand in a separate civil fraud case. It comes weeks after another judge ruled that Trump misrepresented the value of his assets in a separate civil fraud case, which Trump denies. Now, a little bit closer to home, the Federal Bureau of Land Management has announced a new rule that leaders say is aimed at improving the health and resilience of the public lands they oversee. The rule drew strong reactions from supporters and opponents in Montana. MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Ambarian breaks down the changes it would make.
Leaders with the Bureau of Land Management say their new public lands rule is intended to improve the health and resilience of these lands and to put conservation on equal footing with other uses. The Biden administration said the final rule refines an initial proposal they introduced a year ago. It directs the BLM to consider land health when managing all uses. Currently, they've applied those principles only to grazing decisions. The rule also calls for restoration leases, in which a group could seek approval to improve a degraded landscape, and mitigation leases, intended to compensate for environmental impacts from a project by enhancing conservation values in another location. In addition, it tells the BLM to prioritize designating areas of critical environmental concern, or ACECs, which has special management to protect landscapes, wildlife, and historical or cultural resources. The BLM manages more than 8 million acres across Montana. The announced rule drew praise from several conservation groups in the state, who said it would provide important balance in land management and move away from a focus on resource extraction. But several of Montana's Republican members of Congress criticized the rule, warning that it would be used to lock up lands and prevent their use for grazing, mining, energy production, and recreation. The BLM said in response to public comments that restoration and mitigation leases won't be issued where they conflict with existing uses like grazing, and that recreational uses can generally continue where they are issued. They said the ACEC process will continue to include robust public involvement. This rule comes just a week after 2 other BLM rules that updated the requirements for oil and gas leasing and encouraged wind and solar energy development. In the Helena Valley, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
And at last night's Bozeman School Board meeting, district staffing changes were discussed. One staffing change includes current Emily Dickinson Elementary Principal Sarah Hayes to change positions to Professional Learning Communities, or PLC Admin Coach. This cost-neutral solution is a 2-year administrative position where Hayes will directly support the 4 K-5 buildings and 2 middle schools that have not yet achieved model PLC status in year 1. The second year will focus on middle and high school support. Assistant Principal Nellie Brown will be taking over as principal at Emily Dickinson Elementary. And when it comes to cardiac arrest, the time between life and death is just minutes apart. That's why first responders want young people in Butte to know life-saving CPR techniques. MTN's John Amy was at Butte High last week, where students learned an important skill.
Boo! Hey, this guy may be the real dummy, but he's smart enough to teach some Butte High sophomores very important life-saving techniques. In the case that somebody has a cardiac arrest, they'll be able to do something that may save someone's life.
Hopefully they never have to use this skill, but should they encounter it, they'll have the skills necessary to help make a difference for somebody in our community.
First responders with the Butte Fire Department, A1 Ambulance, and Intermountain Health recently spent 3 days teaching the sophomore class at Butte High how to do chest compressions in the event of somebody going into cardiac arrest. Time is of the essence when it comes to saving a victim of cardiac arrest.
We definitely need the public to help us because the fire truck, the ambulance, the police cruiser only drive so fast.
Hash said there is an 89% mortality rate in this country for people who suffer a cardiac arrest outside of a hospital. Permanent brain damage can occur after just 4 minutes and death after just 8 minutes.
If we intervene quickly, we can double, if not triple, their chance of survival.
Students were taught to call 911 and then continue chest compressions until first responders arrive.
It's pretty exhausting, actually, but you know, it's a good skill to know if you're gonna save someone.
Many students said they believe it is important to learn this skill.
Really easy to learn and it's very simple, and I think it's really good for people to know. Definitely a good time to learn this. You never know if you'll need it in the future. I mean, it could save someone's life.
In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
I mean, I think extremely valuable skill for any young person.
Yeah, I think we all could benefit from a
Definitely.
little refresher, maybe.
I think so. Now, before we head into a break, I wanted to share this heart-pounding rescue story with you. Now, this is going to take us off the coast of San Francisco. This is the local fire department. They brought the chopper up because they knew they had 2 souls they needed to rescue. 2 dogs fell off of a cliff cliff. Look at this little guy. This is Odin.
It's not a little guy, though.
He's a Belgian Malinois,
Yeah,
so little is relative.
Yes.
But from this distance, he looks quite
Yes,
little.
that's right.
Now, they got a fire rescuer down there, got a special harness on little Odin, and they were able to rescue him. They lifted him all the way up and were able to get him safely up that cliff. I mean, talk about patience and talk about a very delicate situation for both the dog and for those
Looks
rescuers.
very happy now.
Absolutely, I think so. Maybe the fire department has a new department dog.
That's right.
Who knows? Odin seems pretty comfortable
Good
with them.
stuff.
All right, 6:14. We're going to take a short break here on Montana This Morning. But when we come back, serving your country isn't without its dangers. And after 30 years in the military, one Billings man has finally found what he calls his therapy. We're going to explore this, plus a look at your forecast. All that and more when we come back.